Okay, sorry about that slow start to the race. That was just me trying to figure out the stream setup. I've still got it a bit iffy. It should all be fixed now, at least as first car out on the grid looks to be Kustov yet again. And McLaren going to be leading out everyone, as I should probably turn everything on. Fitted fastest lap. There you go. As I do actually need to get the Twitch open on my phone as well, so I can read Jaffa consistently moaning at me. But yeah, we will hop on board with Kustov, who is the first car out on circuit. Okay, and apparently it should be a dry race, which is good. So, no wet running. Just waiting for everything to lag. Okay, that was fun. As yet, Kustov's just coming through Sector 2 at the minute, which is more of the tricky downforce needed area of the circuit. This tight technical left-right. So we do actually have a full grid here as both Ferraris are going side by side with each other, which is a little bit of rivalry from the two Ferraris. But last week we did see AMS Jaffa end up wrapping up the not the constructors, the drivers' title in France last week. So very well done to him. And the last title, which can be decided tonight, is between Antonici, has been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. I don't know what happened then, or why he has been disqualified, but he will be starting at last on the grid as Kustov is coming down onto the DRS straight now to on his flying lap. Sorry about that cough, as he does set up Sector 1, but it's to be expected as he is the first driver out on circuit. The championship that can be rounded up tonight in the final race of the season will be the Constructors, and it is between the Mercedes pairing of Iran Skifi and Arnson against AMS Rhythm and AMS Jocelyn. Jocelyn and Rhythm holding the advantage on the two Mercedes drivers, but if they have a poor race, Mercedes can take the title away. I do not know the difference between them at the minute. If someone would like to tell me the difference, that would be nice, but still, it won't let me check the disc scoring, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho. As Kustov finishes his first lap, we've been on board with him now as he comes through the bank DRS straight and sets a 1 minute 8.1 as the first banker lap. He will actually be followed by Jocelyn, who just finishes his lap, setting a 108.2. So Kustov seemingly setting the bar here. Next car will be Breezy, who we all know likes to do just one lap round here, or one lap round any circuit in the qualifying session. Then he'll head into the pits and more than likely retire if he feels it's good enough. But as he comes now down through the DRS straight, open his DRS, using the last little bits of ERS he has as it runs out going over the line, he sets a 107.5, a very nice lap from him there, sets the new bar above what the... geez, okay, Gergo has just set a 107.3, followed by X-Pilot there, setting a 108.0. So both the Ferrari drivers have finished their laps. Next driver to finish a lap will be Quafer. Quafer's starting his lap, and then it is also Deviant who's starting a lap as well. Every driver seems to be out on circuit. So it seems like I won't have anyone actually speaking to me in the chat, which is nice and lovely. As I did just miss, Londolan there set a 108.4, and Kingberger just set a 108.2 there as well, respectively. Next car will be Quafer, where be Lion Racing starting a lap on it, yep. And then it'll be back to Kustov. Kustov, who's going to be coming into the pits. Yep, Kustov comes into the pits. He is he's not quickly followed by, it is Jocelyn going for a second flyer. Jocelyn, we'll see if he can improve. No, he's 5 tenths slower, but he is going to be going for another lap on those soft compound tyres. We'll see what he can end up doing. As both Red Bulls now of Jaffa ending his lap, or starting his lap, and it's the AlphaTauri actually of... Who was the AlphaTauri? I was Nigel coming into the pit to add and validate his time. He was followed in then by Breezy, and also both Ferraris will more than likely be coming into the pits. We do see Rhythm is about to start his lap, trying to maybe get some slipstream off the car ahead, which he doesn't actually do. He takes a much more aggressive line going into the DRS straight as that Ferrari doesn't pit, so he may be able to get slipstream from it, as we did actually just see Quafer and Deviant both set times. Quafer sat there with a 108.8 and Deviant there with a 108.3, put themselves P9 and P7 respectively. Very good laps from them there. As Gergo is still sat up on top, doing one lap on the soft compound tyres, and he has actually come into the pits. We do see Rhythm here, set up sector 1, so we'll see what he can do for the rest of the lap. As he is now coming up the hill, going into the right-hander, into the technical sector 2 here. A weird braking, so you can easily invalidate it on the outside of the circuit there, but he turns it in very nicely, as he's now going to come back on the switchback for a left-hander, but he does have a Ferrari ahead of him, so this Ferrari could help him out if he doesn't catch him into the DRS straight. But if he catches him up too early, this could hamper his lap, so we'll see what he can do as Jaffa there. As he goes fast, we've actually missed that lap, but he sets a 107.2, a tenth slower than Jaffa there, so we'll see what he can end up doing, as I believe the Rhythm has actually been held up here by X-Pilot's Ferrari that didn't seem to get out of the way, but I don't know if X-Pilot was on a lap or was not, but Rhythm has pulled out of his lap, it seems like. So Rhythm not happy with that lap, actually lets Quafer go through. Quafer there does improve by 2 tenths, and the Racing Point is probably going to do another outlap then. Back in for another lap. As I believe Antonici's wheel disconnected, which is the reason why he got disqualified, which is very unlucky if it did. We can't really help with that, but we just hope it is going to be reconnected for the race, so you won't have any issue for the race. And Proven saying it's an actual track. Yes, Proven it's a track. You're probably going to die out when we race here. But hey ho. As the McLaren hit of Kustov is going to end his outlap and start his flying lap as he comes across the line. Now to start it, we'll see if he can improve on a 108.8, which he has set, but we do actually see Jaffa going to improve his time. Nope, he's 5 seconds slower, but he's going to go for another run on these soft compound tyres. Does actually lock up, causing himself some damage to that tyre. Jocelyn is... I don't know if Jocelyn is going for just a race run here, as this is his 4th lap on these soft compound tyres. I know X-Pilot has done 4 laps on these softs, as he isn't using any ERS or DRS. Are drivers taking this as a practice session, or have I got the wrong idea? At the minute we do have 13 drivers. Arnson did actually set a lap, but he might have pulled out of that lap as it is an 11.9, and Rhythm also would have pulled out his lap as it is an 11.1. So those laps are not actually respective to those 2 drivers' pace in this division. So we'll see what they can do as X-Pilot, not X-Pilot, Lunderland and I believe that is Quafer have come into the pits. Yeah, it's Quafer. Both drivers of them have come into the pits. We do see Skeefy start his flying lap now, so these 2 Mercedes drivers will want to pip both of these Racing Point drivers, but the Racing Point drivers will want to try and just secure this title. Liar Racing here about to start his lap as the McLaren dives into the pits. The next car to cross the line will be the Red Bull of Jaffa. Jaffa improves on his time by 2 tenths, probably figuring out there was 2 tenths in his lap, and has now set a 106.9. Racing Point of Jocelyn here is starting his lap, and that will be followed by ARL Apex, who is the only Alfa Romeo left in the session. He'll be starting his lap as well, so we'll see what he can do. The McLaren there of Arnson actually puts his car up into P5, so we do have a car backwards there. That is Liar Racing, has actually got wing damage. That is probably going to be coming off of turns 5, maybe turned in a bit too much, but we'll see what will happen then. He is now just going to rejoin the circuit. So currently we have 6 drivers who haven't set a lap yet. These are Nigel Ater, Skeefy, who is actually finished his lap. We'll see what Skeefy can do as he comes across the line. Skeefy puts his car up into P5. So at the minute it is a Racing Point Mercedes checkerboard. I know that the Mercedes need to win this race to even have a thought about the title, and hope that the Racing Points don't have a bad race. I believe the gap is just about 23 points. So Mercedes will be a lucky point in this weekend. We do see ARL Apex trying to get a little bit of a slipstream off of Jocelyn. No, but he has invalidated his laps, so this will not count as a lap. So more than likely be him starting a lap. As Proven says, it looks like a circuit. He'll cause a huge pile-up at. Got to be more specific with it looks like a circuit that will cause some huge pile-up at, as we have seen the amount that he have caused. Rhythm here about to end his lap. We'll see what he can do if he can improve. No, he's 2 seconds slow, but this might be him just starting his second flyer on 4 lap old softs. That's Rhythm actually. Jocelyn has come into the pits. Sorry about that, with the confusion. We did actually just see Storm finish his lap. Actually puts his car into P2 there with a 107.2. This may make a few drivers that are further down the grid maybe think about doing another lap on those tyres, as Arnson, but no, it's Skeefy who's coming through. Who has invalidated and does come into the pits. This is a weird pit entry because you can take a lot of speed into it, but can also cause a crash. Proven saying it looks like another circuit he will cause a pile up at. Yeah, any circle on the calendar, you'll end up causing a pile up at. We know you. Aero Apex now is about to end his lap, so we'll see what he can end up doing, opening his DRS as he now comes across through this weird part of the corner there, but comes across the line and actually puts his car into P2, the 107.1. No one else apart from Jaffa putting their cars into the 106s, but all lap times are very good respectively from these drivers. Bjorklund is going to start a lap now as well, and it is going to be followed by AMS Rhythm. AMS Rhythm, who is a 10th up at the minute on his time, improves by 3 tenths, puts his car up into P3. So both Mercedes, even though this is only Q1, may want to improve their times, so they may want to sit in the garage. It all depends on what they want to do in qualifying, if they want to split strategies or not, because I know that in a party tonight, trying to grab as many points as they can from this race. Nigelator here has invalidated his lap time, but Ian Storm has actually dived into the pits as well, so Nigelator will be the next car to come across the line. He is got the fuel light blinking and his car is in low fuel mode, so he will not be on a competitive lap. Next car will actually be Kustov. Kustov, who is a 10th down at the minute, but we'll see what he can do as he ends sector 2. We'll see how low he is. He's actually improving by 1.5 seconds, by 1.5 tenths. 1.5 seconds would be a big improvement, but it is not, sadly. Kustov, who apparently set a purple sector 2 as he opens his DRS, as he's coming through this banked, then the uphill of this final corner. He puts his car up into P10, a 2/10 improvement there from him. He will be followed by Deviant, who is starting a lap. I believe that is Apex coming into the pits. Then it is also the Haas there of Bjorklund. Very nice lap there from Bjorklund, putting his car up into P6. Next car will be X-Pilot. X-Pilot, who hasn't validated his lap time, will not be setting another competitive lap. Lion Racing, who will be the next car after his little spin, has replaced his front wing, and we'll see what he can end up doing. Proven, you know what I'm going to say you should be doing now, shouldn't I? So you might want to hop on there before someone gets a little mad at you who's racing tonight. Deviant here, who is on a lap as well, as he's going to be coming up onto the back straight. It's not really a straight. Your last braking point's like a U-shape away. It's a weird straight here at Brazil, but it gives you a good run with DRS as well, as he does actually improve by 4 tenths there, Deviant, and puts his car up into P11. Very nice lap from him there. So at the minute, Kingberger's sitting on the cusp here and will need to improve his time, but we haven't seen lap times from Cool Ice Cube yet, so we'll see what he can end up doing, if he maybe can displace a few drivers. Both Williams are wanting to be improving, and same as the Alpha Tauri there of Niger, so we'll see what they can end up doing. As we actually have the Renault here of Kingberger. Kingberger's on an outlap. Of course, I jump onto 2 drivers on outlaps respectively here, but we do have Lyra Racing, who is on a lap and improvement by 1.5 tenths there. Will actually put him up into P16, but we need to improve by about 5 tenths if he wants to even put his car into P15. We'll see what he can end up doing as he now comes across the line. It is an improvement by 3 tenths and moves him up to P16, and just a little bit behind Kingberger, who's in P15, but in front of Kingberger. Every single millisecond counts, it seems like, as these drivers are all bunched up, as within a second there is actually from P1 down to P12 are all within a second, so that's a very big gap from them there, as the Red Bull of Deviant is on a lap, but Deviant does dart into the pits. He doesn't want to cause any damage to his car or his laps. X-Pilot, who is on actually, here's one of the only drivers on a new set of tyres. Same as Kingberger here, who's actually on a fast lap. Kingberger's got the engine glitch. We're going to go onto the exterior camera. I'd improvement by 5 tenths there, but that car does not sound healthy. As Kingberger will come across the line, we'll see what he can do if that 5 tenth improvement does stay. It actually knocks down to 3 tenths, but puts his car up into P12. So a very nice lap from him there. Londolan is now starting a lap, same as X-Pilot. Lyra Racing is on a lap, so see what Lyra Racing can do, is he's 13 tenths slower, or 13 seconds slower. So hopefully he'll be setting another lap. I don't know if he is going to come into the pits this lap or not. No, he isn't. He does open his DRS very late and actually turn his ERS on very late, so I don't know what that was about. But we do have the Mercedes to Skeefy. Skeefy maybe not believing that his lap was good enough. We'll see what he can do as Breezy has retired in the pits. Classical Breezy there for you. Doing his one lap and then retiring. That yellow flag needs to be ignored. But Skeefy here is out on a lap. But also the other racing point there, I believe, of Jocelyn is coming out again. So these Mercedes and Racing Point drivers maybe not thinking they're in the safe enough places. Drivers can improve very quickly round here. We do see not ERN Storm, that was Nigelator start his lap, trying to improve on a 109.3, currently the only driver in the 109s, but I know he can improve on that lap time. And maybe challenge anyone further up the grid a bit, as we do see ERN Storm has set up purple middle sector. He's got a 2/10 improvement here. This 2/10 improvement will put him down into the 106s at this moment in time. He's darting across the line now. He goes and improves by 1.5 tenths. He doesn't put his car into the 106s there. He does lose some time on the straight, but has actually put his car into P2 there. So he will be looking like he wants to contend for that pole position when it arrives, as we do have one Williams who's just come across the line. That is Lyra Racing starting a lap, and Quafer will also start a lap. We do have Skeefy, who's a bit ahead of the racing point there. Skeefy apparently set a purple middle sector. That is very nice from him there. We'll see what he can do coming across the straight now. Just runs out of ERS as he gets to the line. He also uses DRS, but he improves by 4 tenths there. Puts his car just behind the racing point there of Rhythm. So these Racing Points and Mercedes drivers already battling it in qualifying, it seems like, as Racing Points seem to have the edge in qualifying, just a little bit in front of the other drivers. So I've only just got the notification that I've gone live here for NRC, which is very fun. Bit late there for my phone to recognise. We do have Arnson, who is going to start a lap. Jocelyn, who's on 5 lap old softs. I don't know which AMS driver, or which one of the racing points it was who did 22 laps on softs in Russia, but this is not Russia, and this is not the race, so you can cool off on doing the 22 laps on these tyres. We do have both Ferraris coming across the line now. There is Gergo on a outlap, but we do have NRC X-Pilot, who is going to start his lap now as well. So next driver will be Quafer in the Williams. Quafer is starting a lap as well. Skeefy is coming into the pits, and then it is going to be Jocelyn. Jocelyn trying to grab a little bit of slipstream off of him. And Jocelyn doesn't improve, 1.2 tenths slower, but he is now apparently going to do 2 warm-up laps onto 1 flyer. We do next have Nigelator, so just realised qualifying has ended. Can Nigelator improve on his lap time? He does not open his DRS. He believes he is too slow, and he does not improve on his time. 2 seconds slower there. Keeps him in P18. What can Cool Ice Cube never came out. Does Cool Ice Cube have a quali ban or not? But Quafer here coming to the middle sector. We'll see if he can remove himself from this bottom 5 and actually put Lunderland into that bottom 5. Arnson puts his cut up into P9. Very nice lap from him there. Jocelyn is also on a lap. I believe the 2 Ferraris are both on laps, but I don't know if they will be pushing X-Pilot. Actually, maybe. He is down in P14, but he hasn't validated his lap time, so Gergo. Hasn't validated as well. Quafer, you now have the spotlight. See what you can do. And if you can make it through into Q2, be the only Williams to make it through. We'll see what you can do. As he comes into the pits. Fun. So that is qualifying over. So AMS Jaffa takes the top spot in Q1, followed by Storm, Apex, Rhythm, Skeefy, Gergo, Bjorkland, Breezy, Arnson, Jocelyn, Deviant, Kingberger, Kustov, X-Pilot, Lunderland, Lyra Racing, Quafer, Nigelator, Cool Ice Cube, and then Antonio Shi, who got disqualified due to his wheel not being connected and his car not driving out of the pit lane. So we did actually lose both Williams of Lyra Racing Quafer, the Alpha Tauri there of Nigelator, Renault of Cool Ice Cube, and Alfa Romeo of Antonici. So we'll just wait for the 1 minute 25 to end. As there we go. So the top 13 all separated by a second there. Very nice lap from all these drivers here today. In qualifying as well. This isn't even the race, so we'll see what they can end up doing in the race. But at the minute is a Brit followed by 2 Swedes, so we'll see if that will be the same in Q3, or we might even see a Racing Point or Mercedes, who are battling each other for the Constructors' title at this moment in time, maybe take that top spot. So we'll just wait the extra 22 seconds. Yes, Jaffa, don't worry, don't need you moaning at me. Look, here's the tyres. There you go. Look, you're on the mediums. Yeah, you didn't even say anything yet. Thing is, if I hadn't have done it, you would have said something. First car on circuit is actually the racing point there of AMS. Is it Jocelyn? Notice. Oh, sorry. It's actually Kustov's first car on circuit. I thought that was a racing point and not a McLaren. One's pink, one's orange, so that's my eyesight for you guys, but we'll see what Kustov can do as he's on his outlap. Jaffa being the only car to actually think about putting the... I'll invite Welsh Steven back to even think about putting the mediums on, so we'll see what he ends up trying to do here. Oh, Stephen has rejoined, there we go. So Kustov is going to be first car to set his laps. We'll see what he can end up doing as he's now coming down to the center S as turns 1, 2... It's 1, 2 and 3, isn't it? Yeah, because it's right, left, right. So we'll see what he can end up doing as he now comes down. I believe it is the Retroposta here. Yeah, I'm not going to be naming any corners apart from the center S's, due to the fact that I know none, as the Red Bull does actually nicely get out of the way there for the McLaren driver who is on a quick lap. We'll see what he can end up doing. Coming up through... Jaffa, the tyres are there, it just glitched. There you go. A lot of drivers are actually considering the mediums now. Now the McLaren driver coming through sector 2 sets purple middle sector. That is only due to the fact that he is the first driver to set a lap, so Kustov there getting purple sector 1, 2 and 3 being the fastest car on circuit so far. We'll see what you can end up doing. Comes across the line, so it's a 107.9, I believe. That is actually an improvement on his Q1 run, so very nice from him there. He is going to be followed by Jocelyn, who is on the mediums. That's a 110.5, but most drivers on the mediums prefer to do 2 hour laps than a quick lap. So you see you can do, maybe need to heat the tyres up enough. Rhythm isn't out. What car is that then? That is the Renault. So okay, yeah, quite close to Renault. As there is a yellow flag sector 1, this is just due to a car getting out the way for a quicker car. That is nothing to worry about. Jaffa starts his flying lap on the medium compound tyres. And Skeefy also sets his lap. So Skeefy is going to be hoping to get some type of toe off of the current champion. Yeah, well done to Jaffa for the championship yet again. As Skeefy is invalidated to go through turns 1, 2 and 3. So Skeefy's going to be kicking himself about that, but we still have... we did have Kustov as fastest, but now Gergo is fastest on circuit, followed by Kustov, then Lundell, ex-pilot, then Jocelyn, then Breezy. As Kustov does come into the pit on those soft compound tyres, maybe thinking about switching over to the mediums, as I believe the strategy here is soft medium or medium soft, I want to say. It could be medium hard, but I believe it is soft medium. As someone has set up on a sector, that is Iran Storm. Not surprised, he will be following the Red Bull driver. This is going to be Jaffa as well, finishing his lap. Jaffa invalidated his lap, so we'll see what Storm can do. Storm can put a 7.8 in, so no one going near the 6s so far that Jaffa did in Q1. So they can do. Skeefy now blasts his engine down the straight as this will be the start of his flying lap. Storm brings out the yellow flag. This is Storm slowing down, and I think this is going to be slipstream for the Mercedes driver. Yes, it is. So you can see Storm trying to give as much slip as he could to Skeefy there. This is going to be to help out, as both these drivers will be in the same party together and probably helping each other out. Storm was very wide there. But that's just so Skeefy gets the slipstream. Arnson is about to end his lap. We'll see what Arnson can do. He invalidates and done at 14. Okay, so every other driver on the circuit is on a outlap. I believe everyone's on an outlap backed up to Skeefy. So Skeefy's actually our only driver on a flyer at the minute, so we'll see what he can end up doing. Deviant has left the session again. I'll re-invite Deviant. Skeefy, though, coming through the final sector, into the final sector now. As he's coming up the hill, there is a yellow flag there. There is a Renault driver. There's Kingberger. Kingberger's just getting out of the way. Skeefy puts his car into P3 there with a 7.8, 3 tenths behind what lap time Gergo has done, also 3 tenths behind the lap time Jaffa has done. So both those drivers are going to be looking to improvement on their lap time, more than likely. Deviant has rejoined the session. There you go. And Arnson actually sets fastest lap of all. So it looks like the Mercedes drivers are going to split their lap times here. Arnson doing a 7.2 on the soft. So Mercedes may look to do a soft medium then a medium hard. Which will be very interesting, as we'll see also what the Racing Point drivers do, as Jocelyn has currently set a lap on the medium or compound tyres. And his teammate of Rhythm has not set a lap yet. So we'll see what he can end up doing. As he actually ends his lap here, he sets a 107.5. Fastest final sector, so it looks to be he's running a low downforce setup for that final sector to get as much straight line speed as he can in that Racing Point. But putting his car into P3 means his car is secure. But in doing so, he's knocked Jocelyn down even further. Jocelyn almost out of the points giving positions as Aero Apex has retired. Jaffa, I know you're in the pits at the minute. Yeah, you are. Do you know why Apex retired, or am I just going crazy? Christoph here, we'll see what he can do on the soft compound tyres. What lap time will he produce in the McLaren? Comes across the line, a 7.7, puts his car up into P5. That does actually help his other drivers out as much as he can. As anyone seeing this from Deviant? Deviant, you need to go down into neutral and then reverse, okay? Welsh Deviant has been disqualified in the pit lane for blocking the start. I believe that is due to his lag, actually. So we are just kind of giving advice to aid Deviant there. Sorry about the lapse in commentary then. We're just trying to give advice to Deviant to help his game out. But we do have Christoph here. That yellow flag is... Okay, don't worry about that yellow flag. It is going to be Jocelyn who ends his lap. We'll see what Jocelyn can do. He improves by a 10th, but that only puts him up into P9. So, him being there is actually an issue for the Racing Point drivers, as an improvement by anyone else here could cause a little issue for Racing Point. Kingberger coming out, so drivers that could knock Jocelyn out here: Lunderland, Kingberger, X-Pilot and Breezy. Breezy, who I know will put his car into Q3, knowing Breezy's pace that he does have around one lap around these circuits. more than likely when he does his lap, or his actual flyer, we'll be able to displace like Jocelyn a bit. So Jocelyn isn't going to need to be getting his butt in gear and setting some quick laps. So more than likely see him switch up to mix 2 for his ERS here. As you know, he's got fuel light. So yeah, we'll now see what they can do. Is Jocelyn coming into the pits now, and Jocelyn gets knocked down by X-Pilot. Brilliant lap there from X-Pilot, putting his car up into P6 with a purple final sector. So the Ferrari driver there is actually getting his butt moving, as this is now going to mean that Kingberger, if he can improve on his lap times, is coming through sector 2 now. We'll see what he can end up doing. As he locks up both front wheels, that is going to hamper his lap times. It is going to make him go a bit more straight than usual. He is now going to be coming down through this right-hander, which is the last right-hander of the circuit. Then it's down through 2 left-handers, down the hill, and then as you race up the hill through 2 left-handers. So he now comes into sector 3. He has improved by a 10th. That 10th improvement isn't enough to knock Jocelyn out of the positions as well. We'll see what he can end up doing. He now opens his DRS, uses all of his DRS, runs out just before the line like every other driver has. Improvement by not even a 10th there, as that doesn't give him enough straight and speed there to put any car out. Ferrari driver there of X-Pilot comes into the pit after that storm of a lap. This storm also comes out for a lap, so the AlphaTauri driver is now realising that they are going to have to set laps, and he is going to come out for his 2-lap warm-up and then his actual 1 lap. No, he's not. He comes out on the softs and puts his car into P1 there with a 106.9. So Storm during that lap time has moved Skeefy as well. Skeefy may be looking here to improve on his lap time, maybe try and just secure that position. But if he will come out on the medium compound tyres. There is a yellow flag there. I do not know what that yellow flag is caused by. More than likely Storm slowing up a bit. X-Pilot is retired in the pit lane. That is due to him believing his lap time is good enough. AMS Jaffa's apparently set a purple final sector. Yeah, he just did finish his laps. That is why. That is coming up as a purple final sector. As we do see the Mercedes driver there of Arntzen out on another lap on the soft compound tyres. Okay. And Jocelyn is out on the softs. Jocelyn is now worried that he is not going to be able to get through on the medium compound tyres and has come out on the softs. So that is showing me that maybe the Mercedes are starting to rattle the racing points a little bit here. We'll see what he can end up doing. We'll stay on board with him for this lap, as Skeefy is also out on circuit now as well on an out lap. So he'll be speeding around the circuit to start his flyer, and we'll see what he can do. Breezy is also out, so if Jocelyn invalidates this lap time, it could be big trouble for the Racing Point driver. As he now comes through the first right-hander, as he's now going to switch it into the left-hander, coming down the hill, and then it is suddenly this long sweeping left-hander, which is a weird zone for braking, then up the hill into a right, and down the hill yet again into another 2 lefts. As the circuit is a lot of left, right, up, downs. But it is a very nice circuit to drive. Feels like a roller coaster, as some people describe it. Very nice. On your tyres as well, as you do not usually have to hop onto the harder compound tyres. Jocelyn though is coming through the final sector now, trying to get any slipstream he can, but cannot. Cuts the corner a little bit there, keeps it valid as he comes across the line. Where can he put it? 2 seconds slower for that lap, as Breezy, there you go, Breezy puts his car up into P2, so Jocelyn will have to push for this lap now. As Jocelyn is going to be out of this qualifying session. We'll see what they can do. Bjorkman is improving, and so is Skeefy. So those drivers will hope that they can knock him down as he is 1/10 quicker through sector 1. We'll see what he can do. trying to keep his value as he can, coming through the left-hander as he now will race up the hill into a right-hander, or a double right-hander, which is wood braking zone, as you can get it all wrong. Drops his car down into 6th, but keeps it very nicely turns in nicely, but locks up the front wheel. That isn't going to cost him as much as it would cost other drivers, but we'll see what he can end up doing. And now into another right-hander, locks up his front right wheel as well. This is going to cost him these lockups throughout this lap, as he will be fighting other drivers here. X-Pilot may even be knocked out of qualifying now, as he actually runs very deep. They're not able to slow down the car quick enough. He gets up in the sector, but now he races up through the final sector. Coming now onto the DRS straight, keeps his car open, opens the corner nicely. Takes the same line he ran through the whole of qualifying 1 and puts his car into P3. Jocelyn is safe there, so we now will see if Skeefy or Bjorklund, what these drivers can do. Skeefy is not going flat out. Bjorklund here, what can Bjorklund do coming across the line? Bjorklund improves. This does mean Skeefy is now down in 11th. Skeefy comes into the pit lane. So the fight between the Mercedes and the Racing Points means that Skeefy came out on the softs and actually wants to keep his mediums. So they have shocked both Racing Points, as I believe it is on best. Yeah, it is on best. So Rhythm, Arnson, Jos and Skeefy are all splitting strategies between the teams. This is very interesting. So, Skeefy out in Q2. But as some people do say, P11 is, you can also call it P1, as you get whatever choice tires you want. And they will be fresh no matter what. So there you have it. Storm takes first of all in Q2, followed by Breezy, Jocelyn, Arnson, Jaffa, Bjorklund, Gergo, Rhythm, Kustov, X-Pilot in your top 10. All separated by less than a second. That improvement by Bjorklund does mean that Skeefy is removed from this qualifying session, as same as Lunderlund, Kingberger, Apex and Deviant. Deviant, who was disqualified for blocking the pit lane as his wheel did disconnect. My voice just decided to die then. Do not bring that up, Jaffa. My voice dying. It happens usually. In the top 10, we only actually have 3 drivers who will be starting on the mediums. Rhythm, Gergo and Jaffa are the 3 drivers who will be starting on the medium compound tyres. So we'll see what they can end up doing. Jaffa, I expect to see you on the medium or compound tyre. No, not mediums. The full wets, as it does seem very wet here. Go on 1 lap on the full wets and then back into the pits. Just 1. Hello, DSJ as well. DSJ, you're Jocelyn, aren't you? I just need to double check on that. Nope, you're Rhythm. As Jocelyn is driving, as you said hello. Jaffa, I haven't seen those wets on your car yet. Come on. 1 lap, it's you are the champion. They'll allow it. Okay, yeah. Oh, DSJ is Jocelyn. So DSJ messages while he's driving. Okay. As Jocelyn is first car out on circuit, so we'll see what he can end up doing. Jaff, we will not penalise you for doing that lap on the wet tyres, okay? We do see Jocelyn, who will be the first car to start his flying lap. Nah, Jaffa, why? A double lock up there for Yossen as he does come through sector 1. He will now go through the long left-hander of the end of the center S's. Jaffa, my disappointment for you is unmeasurable. As he now comes through the double left-hander, he will now race up the hill into the double right-hander. Yeah, there are a lot of double corners here, I just realised. Now he comes into the right-hander where I believe it was Yossen who was locking up to that right-hander, so he doesn't lock up this time, but he does lock up on his left-hand tyre. As he goes through that long left-hander, now racing up the hill again, as he is going to turn down to the right, and down the hill. Little roller coaster of a second. And Sector 2, this will be a purple Sector 2, due to the fact that no other driver has actually done any Sector 2. As he now comes up through to start his fly, we'll see what he can end up doing. Takes the exact same line that he did in Q1. What can he do? So the benchmark is now a 107.3. Arntzen, the lone Mercedes, fighting these 2 racing points here. We'll see what he can end up doing. In his quali lap, he comes across the line with a 107.4. A very nice lap from the Mercedes driver there for today. But he is not ahead of the racing point driver, so he'll be kicking himself, probably hoping he can improve on that. Saying that, Gergo has just put his car up into pole. That was a very nice lap from him there. Who's going to be next? Next is Gustav. Gustav, what can you do? Gustav puts his car into P2. This is going to keep demoting down Arntzen and Joslin. Those 2 drivers will want to improve in their lap. As you do see Rhythm now coming across to end his lap. What can he end up doing? He puts his car into P5. This is behind Arntzen at 107.7. He may not be as happy as he would be with that lap. Actually, he's not going flat out now. So we'll see what Joslin can do as Joslin comes into the pits. Storm has invalidated his out lap, but he will start his flying lap now. So we'll see what he can end up doing. Jaffa hugs the pit wall there and puts a 106.7 in. 4 tenths quicker than any other driver. What do we expect from the champion? Just to show off even more. Gergo here comes into the pits. He's not going to improve on his time. So that means next car will be Gustav. Gustav, are you improving? Gustav's just chilling. Rhythm's going flat at it, so we'll see what Rhythm can end up doing. Rhythm's slower by 3 seconds. X-Pilot's just chilling, so Storm will be the next car to finish his lap. We'll see what Storm can do. Is a very nice camera angle there as the cars come through. Storm with the purple motor sector. He may actually be able to take pole here off of Jaffa and see what he can do. But Jaffa here sat on provisional pole. We'll see what happens now. Storm finishes his lap, goes actually into P2 there with a 7.1. So 4 tenths slower than Jaffa. He will look to improve on that lap time as Jaffa is on an in lap here. Not enough fuel in the car to do another flyer. That's into the pits. Bjork, both Hasses are through. Okay, I've just realised that. Up on board with the only car doing a flyer at the minute, which is the Ferrari here of NRC X-Pilot. As he now tries to correct a snap of oversteer there, but keeps it very well, very nicely corrected and turned in. Don't worry about the yellow flag in Sector 2, it's just Storm slowly chitting it around. That pit lane confuses me because I keep thinking, even though it's a racing line to cut across it, drivers are going to hop into the pit. X-Pilot there puts a 7.8 in, very nice lap from him there. Next driver who is on a fast lap is Bjorklund. This circuit is very empty at the minute. As we now do have Bjorklund, what will he do to the middle sector? He does a 50.7. I have no clue if that is good or not, as I do not know the sector times around here. But he does now come racing to go across the line. Takes the optimal racing line, which is weird. And where can he put his car? He puts it up into P2 there for Bjorklund. Very nice lap from him there. Almost puncturing into the 106s like Storm and Jaffa have. Storm there in Q2 actually put a 106 lap in. And Jaffa put a 106 in Q1 and now Q3. And I'll see X-Pilot actually going for another flying lap here. This is also one of the first times in qualifying I have not seen a car completely go flying off the circuit and remove its wheel. So very well done to all of you guys here today. X-Pilot there has actually invalidated his lap time, as we do see Bjorklund come into the pits. Yet again, classic Breezy sat there in P10 and is just going to wait. Come on, anyone want to come out? There we go, Storm, finally. Thank you, Storm, for being the car that comes out. Storm and Breezy. Breezy finally coming out to do his one and only run. So Eron Storm here will be looking at maybe around a 4/10 improvement here to put his car onto pole, with Jaffa not improving on his lap. We'll see what we can end up doing, where he can find his time or lose time throughout his lap. Storm here now finally end. Storm now comes across the line to be the first driver to start his flying lap. He'll be hoping that when he goes down this straight, no drivers are in his way. He keeps it very nicely turned in. No invalidation from him here through sector or through the first few turns. As he now opens his DRS and flies down the straight. That Red Bull of Jaffa needs to just quickly get out of the way, but he does improve on sector 1 there, set the purple sector 1, an improvement of about half a tenth. We'll see what he can do coming up the hill now as well. As he now turns into this right hand, this Ferrari driver will need to get out of the way unless he wants to give Storm slipstream going down the straight here. Keeps his car nicely turned in through the right hand. This Ferrari driver may actually give Storm slipstream coming through here. So you can do it at the end of sector 2. What is his improvement on his lap? 2.5 tenths. He has found 2.5 tenths to the middle sector and set a purple middle sector. This final sector needs to be nailed on for him to even consider challenging for pole right now. Yellow flag to the middle sector. That is the racing point there, getting out of the way, I believe, of the Red Bull. What can he do coming across the line? He puts a 6.8, so close, 500ths of a second in that. Between Jaffa and Storm, very nice lap from him there with the purple sector 1 and 2. Jaffa just seems to have the speed as they went down the straight. He'll be next. Next will be Rhythm. Rhythm's starting, so it's X-Pilot starting a lap. Next car will be Yosten. We'll see what Yosten can do, as Yosten's now going to open his DRS. He's going to take the line you take through this final corner and put East a second slower, as he's actually getting his lap time ready for the first corner. Next one will be Breezy. Breezy, what can he? It's not Breezy, it's Bjorklund. Bjorklund does not improve, or barely improves on his lap time there. Arnson, what can he do? Arnson actually gets too close to the wall there and has to pull away, puts his car up into P4. He's ahead of both Racing Point drivers, but both Racing Point drivers are on laps. I don't know if either of them are going to get held up in traffic here. We will see. Breezy here as he comes across the line. What can Breezy do? Breezy improves a bit, but not enough to move him up any other position. We now do have the Red Bull here of Jaffa. Jaffa improves by a 10th. There you go. He'll be followed by the Racing Point of Rhythm, who puts his car into P2 there. So, one of the Racing Points P2, where can the other one put it? The other Racing Point is actually slower at the minute and will more than likely stay down here in P9. We'll see what he can do as he comes across the line. He does not improve on his lap time, so there you have it. The Racing Point Mercedes fight leaves a Racing Point in P2 and P9 and Mercedes in P5 and P11. And Jaffa, my disappointment on you is unmeasurable for not going out in the wets, okay? You're never going to get that back. So, that fight between the Racing Points and and Mercedes will be looking very tasty during the race. We have Jaffa on pole, followed up the other car on the front row is Rhythm. Second row will consist of Storm and Bjorklund, the AlphaTauri and Haas drivers. Third row will be Arnson and Gergo, Mercedes Ferrari. The fourth row is going to be Breezy and Kustov, and the fifth and final row of the top 10 shootout is Yosten and X-Pilot. As I believe there will be a little break between Q1 and Q2, where these drivers have a little time to do something. As first driver to already up is actually Antonio Chi, so these drivers will be going away pretty quickly now as well. We'll see what they can do. As I don't have the Twitch open. I am stupid. There we go, Twitch is still open. So with these drivers ready up now, we will have lights out after the formation lap, and we'll see what they can do. Oh, it's a medium hard or medium soft soft. Okay. Looks like I got the tyre compounds completely wrong. So, Jaffa Rhythm on the mediums there, it's followed by Storm, Bjorklund, Arnson on the softs. Gergo behind Arnson on the mediums, and then it is Breezy, Kustov, Yosten, and X-Pilot all on the softs. Outside the top 10 we have Skeef, who's opted for mediums, Kingberg, who's opted for mediums, Deviant, Liar Racing. Nigel, who've all opted for mediums, Cool Ice Cube being the only driver to opt for the harder compound tyres. So as they end their formation lap now, Jaffa will just be trying to close the field up here. As you can see how banked these final two corners are as they're coming across in front of the Brazilian spectators. And we'll see what these drivers can do. Keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry about that. Come on, game. Give me a view of the lights. Game, I want a view of the lights. Please. 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 There we go. 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are away. A very good start there, I believe, for Rhythm in the Racing Point. Actually, no, it's a very good start for Storm. Storm, who has gone up the inside of the Racing Point. We also have Arnson there trying to battle his way up the grid. I see no yellow flag, but I do see some cars going side by side. But Storm has made his way into second place, so Jaffa leads away. Followed by Storm, Rhythm, Arnson, who is actually going side by side there with... I don't know who's where. I am sorry, this is confusing. Arnson, who was trying to get past Rhythm there, was not able to. Gergo also looking at Bjorklund, trying to catch up back to him. Skeefy there, a mega star from Skeefy. He started down in P11 and has made his way up, and we have Deviant. Deviant has spun and hit a wall. I do not believe there is any wing damage. There's no wing damage for the Red Bull driver. But that mega start there, as Arnson's apparently 17 seconds behind Rhythm. No, he's not. So I'll quickly have a look at position changes. So, Skeefy up at mega 5 positions. We have Breezy, who drops down 5. Lunderland's dropped down 6. So it's just a lot of small moves up and down the field. And I got to figure out which way. There we go. But Skeefy's managed to capitalise on that very well. We'll see if anyone tries to make any overtakes. As we do actually have Breezy, who's first to pit. Breezy is also thrown into the pits by X-Plant and Antonius. I believe this is all wing damage due to that turn 1 incident we did see in the background. But we do have Arnson, who is now challenging, as there is a yellow flag in the middle sector. This is... what's caused this yellow flag? I believe Quafer... oh, it was Quafer. Quafer's got no end plate, so Quafer has caused the yellow flag there. But Arnson putting Rhythm under all kinds of pressure here. So this Racing Point and Mercedes battle is heating up with the other Mercedes ending up putting his car into P6. But Mercedes need to have both cars ahead of both Racing Points for this set to work. Rhythm, though, is in the mediums. Skeefy on the mediums as well has got himself ahead of the soft runner of Yossen there. It will be medium hard, which is the favourable strategy around here, as shown by the MFD. We do have Storm really close to the back of Jaffa as they come up the straight. Jaffa will more than likely be burning his ERS to try and stay ahead of the driver. We'll see what happens here. Storm having the run and is using his DRS. Storm making his way, as I believe that was a 3-second time penalty. Storm going down the inside of Jaffa here, pushes Jaffa wide and turns into the corner perfectly. So Storm takes the lead of the race. Kingberg also pits. Arnson still so close to the back of Rhythm there, is unable to make a move yet, but Jaffa does have this toe onto Storm here using his DRS, but no ERS. Looks to go down the inside, but is not close enough to make a move. Arnson is only on 30% ERS here. This is going to hamper him a bit as he comes down. Arnson running a bit wide there as well. He will need to keep his car turned in quite close, as he does not want to get any penalties in this fight. Bjorklund is looking to get past the Mercedes there of Arnson, but Storm leading this race will look to create as big a gap as he can to the Red Bull driver of Jaffa there. So we'll see what can happen here. Arnson still closing up to the back of Rhythm. Is it enough? He needs to stay within DRS of this Racing Point driver and not let the Racing Point driver get DRS onto the back of Jaffa here. Jaffa here, though, will more than likely try and slow up a tad through these corners just to give the Racing Point driver DRS. You see he does there. So the Red Bull driver is also helping out the Racing Point, so he's trying to give as much DRS as he can to the driver ahead. Bjorklund sat very close to the back of Arnson. Arnson will need to defend from this, but he has to go his own DRS and slipstream. Rhythm there setting the quickest lap of the race. This is due to getting DRS and assistance from Jaffa up ahead with the slipstream. Arnson just needs to keep his head cool and hope that Rhythm makes a mistake throughout this race. We do see Lunderland make a move onto Lyre Racing going down the straight. Very nice from him there, as any move around the circle will more than likely occur through those parts of the circuit. Arnson still trying to catch up to the back of Jaffa as these drivers are on the medium tyres, whereas we have Skeefy who's just dropping out of the DRS of Bjorklund with Gergo. It's trying to latch onto the back of him and make any move he can stick. So Storm still leads with the 6th lead. That's a very good start from the AlphaTauri driver. Taking Rhythm off of the start and managing to make his way up into the lead on lap 3 with the assistance of DRS. So very nice from these drivers. But look at this, Arnson very close to the back of Rhythm now. A very nice middle sector from that Mercedes driver. He will now be able to latch onto the back of him if he gets a much better exit, which he seemingly does. He is shifting up much better than the Racing Point driver, as ERS already being used, and he is going to open his DRS and see if he can make a move around the outside of this Racing Point driver. The Racing Point driver pushes him a bit wide. Arnson still stays and makes that move stick as he now go down into the first turn. A big lock up there for Storm there, but Jocelyn does the quickest lap, even though Jocelyn is still stuck behind Gergo and Skeefy. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. This is actually Quafer, I believe, who has had a spin. Yeah, that was Quafer who has had a spin. We do see Gergo get past Skeefy, and we also see Jocelyn trying to make his way past Skeefy, but Skeefy does not give any room to his rival there. As when you are going 3 wide, the middle driver does actually have right of way to go to any move defensively he wants to. You kind of have to abide by it. Jocelyn getting very close to the back of Skeefy there. But now with both Mercedes drivers ahead of Racing Point drivers, they want to try and extend this and see what they can do. Arnson now closing up to the back of Jaffa. Jaffa will not want this, but Storm, who is leading the race, will want this, as it is kind of just this battle between different parties. There was no Storm, Arnson and Ski will be in the party, and so will alternatively then Jaffa, Rhythm and Jocelyn. So these 3 clumps of players will all be fighting it out against each other. Arnson though is getting DRS off of Jaffa here. Jaffa not using his DRS and has actually slipped outside the DRS window of Storm. That is big, as now he won't have DRS going down this straight. He does. Okay. Kustov has dropped. I didn't realise you left, Kustov. I am so sorry. But Arnson is slowly dropping Rhythm off the back, and that is good as Bjorklund. If Bjorklund can get in between them, or maybe even Gergo, this would hamper Racing Point even more. But it still is this front 9 fighting each other out, and then you have a little gap to Cool Ice Cube, Lunderland, Lyre Racing, Kustov, Nigelator, Deviant, Breezy, Ex-Pilot, Kingberg, and Tony Chi and Quafer, who all have been involved in their fair share of instances. I believe, actually no, it's only down from Breezy who've been involved in instances, as they're the ones who have pitted. I believe just Cool Ice Cube on those hards is not be able to heat them up, but he did start down there in P18, so up to P10, very nicely done from him there. But Jaffa is not inside Storm's DRS now. Okay, that is big, as Arnson will actually have DRS onto Jaffa there, as he will try and use that as best he can. Rhythm will also have DRS, but Arnson having this DRS is also going to counteract this usage of the DRS. So at the minute it's just going to be this little train, as Storm may actually be able to dart away from these drivers here. As Cool Ice Cube has been passed by London, and that is soft versus hard, so it's not really that surprising unless the softs were extremely worn. I don't have intervals for front 3, that is fun. But if Arnson can end up getting past Jaffa here, this would be mega, as he will actually put another car between him and the Racing Point. Kingberger's picked up a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings, but look at that. If you can even see on the minimap, Storm has now created a gap to these drivers. Skeefy has also created a gap behind him to Jocelyn, who is also on the soft compound tyres. So are these softs starting to die off now? Ex-Pilot also picking up a 3-second time penalty there for multiple warnings. But Arnson having this DRS means he can actually challenge Jaffa. Arnson needs to realise that he has to save up his ERS as well, or yeah, his ERS as well. Or maybe even hope for a safety car to be deployed, meaning that these 2 soft runners of Arnson and Jocelyn there will actually benefit massively from the same as Storm. But Arnson very close to the back of Jaffa now as well. Arnson, you've got to stop using as much ERS as you use, and you don't want to drain it all out as you're down to 17% now. but I know this circuit is very hard to regain your ERS. So going below 10% can be deadly for these drivers, as they may not be able to regain as much as they would want to. The Storm there ended up putting 2 seconds out to Jaffa on the alternate strategy, bearing in mind he did start 2 positions down on Jaffa, so that was very nicely done from him there. A bit further down the field we have Quafer, who did actually opt for the harder compound tyres, maybe trying to go to the end on them. Cool Ice Cube also trying to punch a hole as long as he can in this race. He is now getting chased by Liar Racing and Kustov there. As we were on board with Arnson, there you see a massive lockup from the champion there of Jaffa. Jaffa lagging about a bit there as well. That is going to cause some issues. Arnson popping his ERS then actually means he does go down into the single digits, which is going to cost him greatly. You do see the Liar Racing has passed Cool Ice Cube again. As so does Kustov. I believe there was a little bit of barging there from Liar Racing there, as we have just seen Cool Ice Cube drop down from P10 to P13 now. Those hards maybe not giving him the best of luck as he would have liked to, but he will be able to go much later in the race than any other driver. As we now see this fight for P2 has actually brought in all 9 drivers into a very small window. As Gergo has actually retired from the session, Gergo has had a collision with Jocelyn there. Jocelyn was behind Gergo. Jocelyn maybe even trying to make a move around the outside. This brought the virtual safety car and has damaged. As NWA Robo Nick has joined. I do not know who that is. This has meant Kustov has actually been able to pit, but Jocelyn has lost part of his front wing and Skeefy has also got a penalty there. There's a 5-second time penalty. I do not know what that is about. But this VSC has actually helped out the Mercedes drivers massively. Virtual safety car ends and Iran Storm gets a drive-through penalty for speeding out a virtual safety car. That is going to cost him massively, as he will have to serve that. But Jaffa massively backed up Arnson there, which has cost him. Those into the yellow flag. That is Nigelator, who has had an incident. Has, I believe, been spun around by another driver. May have actually spun around on himself. But Arnson has managed to get his way past Jaffa. Going into turn 1, Arnson has managed to get his way past Jaffa. Jaffa, though, has got DRS and Slipstream and is burning his ERS. He goes down, tries to go around the outside of Arnson, but around the outside around here isn't good enough, so he does get pushed off circuit. That is what's going to happen as the racing line does go there. Arnson manages to stay ahead. We do see Skeefy pit same time as Jocelyn. Jocelyn is having to serve a 5-second penalty as well as to move his front wing, so it's going to drop down the order massively unnecessary as a safety car. So Iran Storm is going to have to serve this drive-through penalty that he has received, whereas Arnson and Jocelyn are now in the hands of Bjorklund and Apex as well, as these drivers have caught to the back of them. And Arnson on those soft compound tyres may have to pit soon, as he does not want to run these tyres through the ground. Arnson does not pit, but the drivers behind him are burning their overtake, whereas Arnson isn't. Actually, Storm does serve his drive-through penalty. Jaffa trying to make a move on Arnson there, just cannot turn his car in enough. Arnson's still planting his car right on the racing line, right where you need to do. But Arnson is going to try and get any slipstream he can off of the car behind him. Jaffa trying to go for the same move, which didn't work last time. He's still trying the exact same manoeuvre there. As Jaffa, that is not an overtaking opportunity going up the hill. Do not want to go side by side up there. But Jaffa getting his rear end all out of shape. Arnson now is actually going to get helped by Nigelator's ghosted car there. As this ghosted car will actually give him DRS, so we'll see what can happen. But this fighting between Jaffa and Arnson is actually meaning that Bjorklund is actually able to sit right on the back of Rhythm here. We'll see if Arnson does actually get DRS hit. Arnson, you've got to stop burning your ERS, man. Arnson does get DRS hit as that guy who joined randomly has now left. Arnson now is going to get the slipstream off the back of Nigelator here. So this has backfired, but now the one stop is open for the medium and compound tyres to pit onto the hards. So Arnson has actually managed to take his tyres long enough to pit onto the hards if he would like to. Lucy Aero Apex has actually pitted and he will go onto more than like the harder compound tyres. Yes, that is the hards, yeah. Storm has actually managed to make his way past him. Storm will now be hoping for a virtual safety car as Arnson has managed to make his way past. Goes to the car of Nigelator, who has actually helped him out massively there. So these front four drivers all sat within the... Well, they're all so close to each other. It is a very good racing for all four of these, actually. But I can tell that Jaffa is getting frustrated behind the back of Arnson. He is trying moves that you would not usually make happen, and which, if caused collisions, could end up with penalties for Jaffa here. But Jaffa now is going to try and get down the inside of Arnson. Arnson can't really defend this, he's just got to stick with it. But this outside of turn 1 switches into the inside of turn 2, and he manages to keep the lead of the race. So very good driving from the wise head there of Arnson. Jocelyn yet again is going to try and... Jaffa's going to go down the outside yet again, which is the not good route. Lock up there from Jaffa means actually that Rhythm has to get out of the accelerator there. Jaffa now looks to make a move up the hill. Jaffa, that is not a place to make a move, trust me. The amount of times I've seen drivers go flying off into the wall there. Arnson still regains the lead for another lap, so that is actually helping Arnson out massively here. Is he almost... Lap 18 to halfway through the race, okay, so he's done 14 laps in these softs. But you can see the wear starting to appear in these soft compound tyres. This is just holding up Rhythm and Jaffa massively being behind a soft runner whose tyres are starting to wear. But we know how good Arnson is with tyres, and that he can make the best out of these and make them last to the end of the race. So we'll see what they can end up doing here. But Jaffa is extremely close to the back of Arnson. Jaffa wants to go down the inside yet again. Arnson is just going to let him go down the inside because Arnson will have the outside road. As Antonici picks up a 3-second time penalty, but Storm does actually come into the pits now. So we do see that Arnson has still regained the lead. As Apex makes his way past London and the Storm actually puts the medium and compound tyres on, so Storm will be going to the end of the race on those mediums. Arnson stayed ahead of these two medium runners will actually mean that Arnson is getting a much better life out of his softs, because even though that snap of oh jeez, Arnson, that big snap of oversteers meant that Jaffa is right on your tail yet again, and so is the likes of Rhythm. Arnson may now be counting down the laps until he does pit. Skeefy has managed to pull his way back up into P10, whereas Jocelyn is still down there in P16. So at this moment in time, there will be 26 points going to the Mercedes garage, whereas there will only be 15 going to the Racing Point garage. So Skeefy will have to gain a few more positions. Arnson comes into the pits there. So Arnson pitting now has actually massively hampered the likes of Jaffa and Rhythm. Arnson picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Arnson, why? Arnson pick up that 5-second time penalty is massively hampering his side of the garage here. He is now going to have to be relying on other drivers, but that massive undercut from Aero Apex has actually helped them out. So we'll see what can happen here as Apex did actually lose his front wing. So very surprised that Apex has managed to pull his way out into P3, but Rhythm, sat just behind Jaffa now, is actually It's in a lull, like a lull position, if that makes sense to him. He'll want to get past Jaffa, but Jaffa wouldn't want to give up the lead. But they'll have to pit soon onto the soft combat tyres. We saw how long Arnt's made his softs last. He made them last 15 laps. So on lap 21, these drivers will more than likely pit as Antonici has actually left the session. I will try and get him back in quickly. You can stay on board with Arnt, and just grab DRS off of the other driver. As Ian Storm, actually says fastest lap, sat down there in P9 as he makes his way past Deviant. Deviant though does actually hit Storm, which is going to cause damage, but I do see there is wing damage there between Breezy and Lyre Racing. So a little bit of bumper cars going on between these two drivers. So they now come down the Retroposter and go into turn 4 here. As Gergo has left the session as well, for God's sake, as there was a... Whoa, okay boys, calm it down, calm it down. We do not want to see that here, as that has actually almost caused massive damage. But I believe that was Breezy who has just barged one of the drivers out of the way. I'm not 100% sure, I only caught the end of that. But that could have been massive damage in the championship fight. Rhythm still following Jaff around here, but Arnson is still trying to catch into the DRS hit of Apex. We'll see what will happen there. Storm is now leading the group, followed by Breezy, Deviant and Skeefy. Deviant gets out the way there for Skeefy, more than likely just to snap him over soon. As Breezy comes into the pits, we'll see what happens as Breezy manages to get his car slowed down. So well done to him. Skeefy now sat just behind Storm up into P7, where you still have Jocelyn sat down there. Even though he's on the harder compound tyres, he is sat down there in P16. So this is going to hamper Jocelyn massively, as he may not even get ahead of Breezy here. We'll see what Breezy actually comes out. No, actually looks like he will be ahead of Breezy. Breezy has to change his front wing away. Okay, yeah. So Jocelyn is almost up into the points, but Skeefy will be trying to get past Storm and Bjorklund here. Bjorklund is caught onto the back of Arnson here. They pit the same lap. As Breezy has retired, coming out of the pits, we'll hop on board with Lyre Racing and see what has happened here. Breezy has crashed in the pit lane, and there is a full course safety car. Well then. Breezy leaving the session there, so this is going to mean that both Mercedes drivers are able to pit for softs. So there you go, both Mercedes drivers actually massively helped out by this, both able to, I believe, serve their 5-second tyre penalty as well. So I'll actually check that on penalties. Both Mercedes drivers have served their 5-second tyre penalties. So even though this means that Rhythm and Jocelyn get their, Rhythm and Jaffa get their free pit stop, Jocelyn also pits. He pits onto the softs off the hard compound tyres, but he is still going to be sat down there in P13 as X-Pilot's crashed in the pit lane. X-Pilot, your front wheel's missing, lad. Antonio just left the session yet again. Okay. The front runners do pit there, so if both front runners do pit, so they'll come in. So, with those pit stops happening, Apex has split the racing points. That is big due to the fact that the racing points will have to get out of the way as Jaffa, stop letting him through and back through, okay? Apex, Rhythm, you've both got to stay behind him as well. He has to stay there between you two. Well proven, welcome to the NRC stream. You can watch Skeefy and Arts versus Rhythm and wherever Jocelyn is, Jocelyn P11, the fight for the championship. Does anyone know what the difference is between the two teams at the minute? Because I want to know who will win what positions. Safety guys can be out for another lap, so I'm just going to quickly go on my phone to check what the gap is between these drivers, so we'll actually see. As Deviant's left the session, I'll get you back in a Deviant, don't worry. And so as, okay. Team standings, here we go, boys. Who was it who left? It was Deviant and Antonich again. Antonich, yes, rejoin. Okay, there you go. There we go. Racing Point have a 32-point gap to the likes of Mercedes, so that 32-point gap will need to be brought down. 32 points, what's that? That's P1 and 3, so Mercedes need P1 and 3. Yep, P1 and 3 they have to get. As Skeefy's got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Deviant, yet Deviant's behind Skeefy. Okay. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, we're still in the safety car conditions, so... Yes, proven we are solo com buddies. This race has actually been very exciting. Apart from I know that Deviant just disappeared and rejoined, okay. Wait, Deviant was ghosted when he hit Ski, though. Okay, Skeefy. Proven useful, did you? Skeefy just decided to cut every corner. Apex, get your ass back behind him. Yeah, Ski is doing some skiing as safety cars in his lap, and Tony Check cannot invite you back just yet. Actually, get brave. There you go, there's another invite back on Tony Chu. Jaffa leads them away. We'll see when Jaffa actually ends up going, but we see how the drivers are all eager to get past one another. Here, these two Mercedes drivers will want to get past these McLarens as quickly as they can and climb the field. Jaffa does dart though, he darts just ahead Puts a gap to Apex. Storm, though, is left a bit further behind as these two lapped cars are now in the way. Bjorklund's right on the back of him, and Antonicic has joined back as Kustov has actually been passed by both Mercedes there. Arntzen is more than likely going to let Ski through, as this will probably be team orders, as Ski is the quicker of the two drivers, so we'll see Ski more than likely try and hunt down the likes of Bjorklund here, as Deviant has just dropped completely down the order. So I believe that was Deviant getting spun around. 3-second type there for Quafer, that is for multiple warnings, but we do have Storm here. He is going to try and displace Rhythm and more than likely Yosten as best he can, but will that be enough? Jaffa's lap of the race, but it's in the softer compound tyres. Rhythm has actually managed to get his way past Apex there, and has almost left Apex in the dust. So there's but Rhythm second time only there for multiple warnings. So there's a yellow flag, that is Quafer retiring in the pit lane there. So there's another retiree in this session. Storm very close to the back of Apex, and more than likely want to get this move dispatched as quickly as he can. The AlphaTauri driver, these two Mercedes drivers also still catching up to the back of Bjorklund here. But Jocelyn here is climbing positions as well, so blue flags getting shown here for to get out of the way of these other two drivers. But Storm very close to the back of Apex now, is also very quick, very close to followed by Bjorklund, but Skeefy here. Older tyres, he is actually closing up to the back of these drivers, so we'll see what can happen here. As the drivers all now open their DRS, Bjorklund getting very close to the back of Storm here, but Storm also getting very close to the back of Apex. But at this rate, it does seem like Racing Point the Constructors' Trophy here, as these Mercedes pairing cannot end up getting past anyone. Only thing that would massively help them out now is if Jaffo's spin and Rhythm gets collected by this incident. We'll have to wait and see. Skeefy is actually noticing Stenbacken, not Stenbacken, Bjorklund, Storm and Apex battling. Bjorklund and Storm have actually managed to make their way past. As Skeef picks up a 3-second type under there for multiple warnings, but he's very close to the back of Apex, as Apex did actually drop the 2 positions there. Oh, and driver in DRS is actually quite bad, as we do see Skeefy manage to make his way past Apex there. We do have Arntzen now, who is actually closing up to the back of Apex. We'll see what he can end up doing. Coming through, Apex still sat behind Skeefy though. Storm though has made his way back up into the podium positions, and if he stays within that 3 seconds of penalties that Rhythm has, he will actually take P2 from this race. So we know penalties can be a massive part around Brazil. We do have a few drivers like Kingberg very close to the back of Lie Racing. Now we'll see what they can end up doing if these guys can have a little battle going a bit further forward. We do have Skeefy very close to the back of Bjorklund there as well. We do not want to miss that, but see what can happen. We'll hop back on board later. We'll see if Skeefy can make his move past Stenbacken. Keep saying Stenbacken, like meant Bjorklund. We do actually see Arntzen using this DRS to good use, manages to make his way past Apex. Apex choosing to stay on those harder compound tyres has not really helped the Alfa Romeo driver out today. We're back on board with, was it Kingberger and Lie Racing? We'll see what they can end up doing as the two runners are actually sandwiching this, what's the car called? Williams. They are actually sandwiching the Williams driver. but a few more battles are happening up ahead. Jocelyn still sat 3 seconds behind there. Skeefy getting very close to the back of Bjorkland and Storm's battle, so they can end up doing, but Jaffa's still leading this race. Comfortably, Cool Ice Cube picking up a 3-second time penalty down there. He is sat down there in P11. He wanting to be he will be hoping that there is no more time penalties. For him during this race. We are Bjork is still close to the back of Storm, but Storm is just controlling this pack at the moment in time. We'll hop back on board with King Berger. We'll see if King Berger can actually make the move past Lion Racing here. I believe it was these two drivers had a massive fight round Russia for about, I believe it was like 6-7 laps side by side. But actually up ahead, see London make his way around the outside of Cool Ice Cube, or the other way around. I do not know which way that fight went. King Berger getting a little bit out of whack there, going through that corner, and Tony Chip picking up a 3-second time penalty as well in the background, but we did not see that happen. As Cool Ice Cube makes his way down the inside of Bjorkland there, of London there. Bjorkland's up in P4. Why do I keep saying Bjorkland? Because I want to. But a lot of these drivers are actually running very low on ERS. The highest is Jaffa on 53. So that shows you how this race is going. Jaffa just sat out the front, controlling the pace of this race. So we now are going to end up onto the last 9 laps of this season for this division. Jaffa just calmly, coolly controlling this race. We'll see what he can end up doing for the last 9 laps. As Lundalen has had a spin, it seems like. I don't know if that is a spin, but I know he was battling, and that is an end plate missing from the McLaren driver as he was battling Cool Ice Cube. Don't know if there was a little bit of contact between the two or not. We'll see what they can end up doing. London with a little twitch there at the rear end, but that is more than likely going to be London's race over, or a chance of getting points over it. Will picked for a new front win. This is unless a safety car does come out, but Storm is still sat 3 seconds behind Rhythm. Storm maybe not wanted to push on the he is on mediums, or mediums. They aren't going to be the freshest of them all. Skeefy though, very close to the back of Bjorkland here, so Storm may have held back Bjorkland in the middle sector there and just darted for the final sector. Jaffa setting fastest lap there, but this is going to mean Skeefy is more than likely going to be able to make a move past Bjorkland. Bjorkland has already moved down to the inside, now around to the outside. He will not be able to cut across to the inside, but Skeefy's going to try and be brave on the brakes. He actually makes contact there with Bjorkland. Bjorkland locks up his wheels, but ends up actually keeping the position. Actually runs deep though, so this may actually let the Mercedes driver actually come back at him. The Mercedes driver down to 3% ERS, 1%. He's out of ERS now. So for the rest of this lap, he is going to have to store his ERS up, but he is going to hope that Arnson's going to be able to make his way past. Arnson sat down there on 19% ERS. We'll see what he can end up doing as he's now going to be racing up the hill. You can see the back blinker light of Skeefy flashing away. Storm though picked up a 3-second time penalty, I believe, somewhere, as that is going to hamper him. Jaffa there picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so it is actually going to drop him down as well. Bjorkland and Arnson actually sat in a good position with the amount of penalties for the drivers up ahead. We'll see if they can push for anything else. We do see Bjorkland also fighting the likes of Arnson behind him. Arnson having a really poor run out that corner there. But we do still have this Racing Point Renault sandwich between Cool Ice Cube, King, I'll call it a burger, this burger sandwich here. A Cool Ice Burger, that good? With Cool Ice Cube leading Liar Racing, followed by King Burger there. But there is no ERS there on board the Williams drivers. He actually makes the move stick very well. You see Cool Ice Cube actually wanted to switch back there as he's going to make it way up the hill. Very well done, not to cause any damage for any driver there, as Welsh Deviant also getting involved in this incident. Does not want to cause any damage to his car either. As you see him brake very early, but trying to actually make that line down the inside much, much better. He was not actually able to produce that. Arnson still needs to catch up as best he can to the drivers ahead of him and try and make his way past. Arnson just wants to make his way past Bjorkman because that could actually end up giving him a podium position here. But Rhythm slowly actually managing to eat into Jaffa's lead here. Jaffa may have just eased off the accelerator a bit as he is low on ERS. So he maybe tried for a couple of fast laps. We do see Lyre Racing make his way past Cool Ice Cube. These three drivers all battling with Deviant getting involved in the back as well. But Cool Ice Cube using your ERS there is not the wisest thing to do. She's not going to have any for the straight now as he opens up his DRS. But the thing is, Lyre Racing is not going to have any DRS, but he's out of ERS here on board with Cool Ice Cube's Renault. What do you end up doing? It's weird calling it a Renault. I keep seeing it as an Alpine and now it's Renault. Just weird. Alpine in real life, Renault in the game. We see the Williams driver ended up making his way. He is now going to go into this deep, hard braking right-hander. I believe that is one of the hardest braking points of the circuit, that right-hander. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is actually. But now Lyre Racing has almost managed to pull out a gap to these drivers behind, maybe even going to challenge for Gustav, but this is the final points paying position. So these drivers will all want to fight it out as best they can. Cool Ice Cube now opening up his DRS and ERS yet again to try and go up. Arnson picking up a 3-second time penalty now for mobile warnings. These Mercedes drivers are maybe letting the occasion get to the head as Rhythm is still sat in P2, and that is going to cost. Bjorkman's managed to get his way past Skeefy. Has Skeefy had a little incident then? Going to the middle sector, he might have, but Bjorkman making his way through. We do not know what happened there, but Bjorkman is just going to sit in front of these two Mercedes drivers. This is going to hamper their chances of any title fight even more. But we'll still hop involved with this Cool Ice Cube battle as we have King Burger also defending from Deviant. Deviant also wanted to get his hands on this final points paying position. So we'll see what they can end up doing. But yeah, Skeefy extremely close to the back of Bjorkman. Bjorkman with a double lockup yet again. These double lockups cost Skeefy so much time behind the Haas driver. The Haas driver now is on 5% ERS. Skeefy, massive overspeed there in the Mercedes car. Manages to easily dispatch the Haas driver there, as now Arnson will try and make his way past Bjorkman as well here. Arnson getting completely squeezed off the circuit there by Bjorkman. Bjorkman, you've got to leave a bit more room than that. I know it isn't an overtaking opportunity, but leave a bit more room than that. Go to the hill, mate. Deviant now very close to the back of King Burger. We'll see if these guys can make any move happen up the hill. Deviant practically pushing King Burger through that last corner as they are going to lag up the hill. King Burger is very, very polite there and actually breaks much harder there, allowing no collision to happen, but Deviant's made his way up into P12. Bjorkman very close to the back of Skeefy, but they do have a lot of ERS here to play with. Arnson trying just to stay onto the back of this group. Jocelyn here, just a reminder, was 2 seconds behind on a set of softs compared to the hards. He had not really made any indent to the driver up ahead. But Storm with this battling looks like he may actually be able to keep that position of, or that podium position, that battling that is happening. We do see Rhythm now actually has 6% ERS and a flashing fuel light, so he's very low on fuel for these last 2 laps of the race, last 2 laps of the season anyway. King Burger very close to the back of Deviant, and Cool Ice Cube very close to the back of Lyre Racing, but Cool Ice Cube has no ERS. One thing Cool Ice Cube's going to realize is when you're out of the ERS, you're going to get no straight line speed, and holding onto the overtake button like that is just going to remove more and more straight line speed. As you see Lyre Racing and Cool Ice Cube battling side by side here, these two drivers. Sorry about that. Consistently battling side by side. They got up the hill, no contact between the two drivers. Maybe a little bit of wheel bumping as they're now going to come down the hill. We're going to see who's ahead of who. Quafer has now left the session. Ooh, I believe there's a bit of contact there. As Liar Racing is actually spun round, so yet there was contact there between Cool Ice Cube and Liar Racing, which has cost Liar Racing his end plate. Oh, he's not going to be happy with that. So he was on for 1 point there in the championship fight, but Cool Ice Cube's managed to spin him round. A bit too aggressive there, maybe from either driver. We'll see what can happen. Bjorklund very close to the back of Skeefy there. Skeefy still trying to hold on to P4. Nigel later with the 3-second time penalty sat down there in P15 for multiple warnings as well. But as now Jaffa comes into the last braking zone of this lap and of this season, he has led most of this championship from start to finish. I believe he has led. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but he has been brilliant here today yet again. Leading up from light to flag, another win there for Jaffa, who is going to be followed home by Rhythm, who secures the Constructors title there. 4 Racing Point followed closely home by Ear and Storm. Skeefy takes home P4 on circuit, but that is going to turn into P6. Bjorklund P5, P4, Apex P5, Arnson P6, Jaffa, Jocelyn P7, Skeefy P8. Kuznov P9, Cool Ice Cube will come across to take P10 as he actually picks up a 3-second tap early there for multiple warnings. That he gets P9 there, but I do not know if that was stay. Kingberger takes P10, Kuznov takes P11, Deviant takes P12. This will be followed home by Liar Racing after that damage from the incident with Cool Ice Cube there. Will take home at P13 in the Williams driver, or in the Williams car there, as he swerves to say a thank you to everyone. This has been a very good season for all these drivers. London are going to be the last car. Will he do donuts as that's the last race of the season? No, he keeps his foot to the floor and finishes the race. There you go. So that is the end of the season here in NRC at Brazil. Constructors is now taken home by Racing Point there, as they were able to extend that gap enough to make sure that there was no challenge by Mercedes with their points today. We do also see that Jaffa last week around France managed to wrap up the Drivers' Championship. He was closely followed, I believe it was, by Rhythm, but that is the end of the season. So very well driven from all these drivers. A good late charge by Mercedes there for the constructors, but was not able to get enough points. Just through a few DNFs throughout there and about. But very, very well done. Jaffa takes home the final trophy of the season there as well. And now also takes home the champagne for Red Bull. Very well done to every driver who has driven here today and throughout the season. And a very big thank you to the NRC boys for letting me do commentary for them. So for the last time on the 2019 game, that is it for NRC. Thank you for tuning in.